The Oklahoma City Thunder played the Denver Nuggets last night, a Sunday night game on NBC, which is great. They beat the Denver Nuggets 121 to 111, in basically a wire-to-wire win. They led the whole game. When Denver would make a run, they sustained and got back up and just held on to that lead throughout the entire game. Hello, my name is Nathan, and this is Thunder Up Talk. And I just want to say thank you so much for watching this video. If you like it, if you like my other videos, please subscribe to my channel. I'd greatly appreciate it. Okay, so today I just wanted to talk about some of the takeaways from last night's game and some takeaways for the Thunder and some takeaways, in my opinion, for the Denver Nuggets as well. So, the very first thing that I just have to talk about is the fact that we're not dead in the water. We'd lost three out of our last four games. And, I feel like the vibes were low. The Thunder fan base on Twitter are already throwing out a million different trade scenarios, already, saying this guy needs to go out, just really low on the Thunder. But that all changed the second that we beat the Denver Nuggets. So I just like to keep this perspective. We were definitely going in a valley. But we are still up 5.5 games on the San Antonio Spurs. So, and we're up 6 games on Denver. So we're still kind of cruising. We're doing really good. We've got the one seed. We've got the one seed for the entire NBA. So I just hope this game can kind of catapult us into. I talked a lot about energy and momentum individually and as a team. I hope this can be kind of a starting point for momentum and energy as a team going forward. Really, for the rest of the season would be great, but just so we can maybe start stacking even more wins and creating a bigger and bigger separation between where we're at and the one seed and whoever ends up at the two seed. The number two thing that is just by far the biggest takeaway that I have to talk about is Shai. He is clearly the MVP frontrunner, and not just because of last night, but I did love the fact that he was in front of that NBC Peacock audience, probably a lot of eyes watching on, it's an 8:30 game, so it's kind of late, but most people at least probably watched the first half. Um, and he played incredible. He had 34 points, he had 13 assists, he could do no wrong, is what it felt like. I mean, even when he was falling down, there was a falling down and one where he just threw the ball and it just straight lined right into the basket. No arc. It was insane. He fell down on his butt one time, caught the ball, made a perfect pass for the guys to start kind of a fast break. He was sensational. I cannot talk any better about how well he played. Um, Right now, he is clearly the best player in the NBA, and he is the MVP. And I don't even think that is close at all. It's going to be awesome to watch him win back-to-back MVPs. I think he has secured it. I don't think there's anything that Jokic can do unless something just insane happens to steal that from SGA. Um, and of course, he still plays defense and does all of that. So that was, I was just happy that a huge audience was able to see Shai Gilgeous-Alexander be the guy that we know he is. My third takeaway: when our role players are hitting threes, we are virtually unstoppable. I mean, it's almost impossible to beat us, and that is league wide, including the Nuggets. That's a big if. I don't ever expect us to shoot like that ever again. I mean, those are just my expectations, especially for high pressure, meaningful playoff basketball games. And that's okay. But if we can just get anywhere near what we were shooting yesterday, that would be incredible. Shea was getting double teamed a lot and he was passing. He really, for how well he played, he never really forced anything at all. And the difference was our guys were just making wide open threes. And of course, the guy we have to highlight was my man, Kaysen Wallace, aka the Silent Thief. He was 7 for 11 from three, most threes he's ever made in a game. He ended up with 27 points, also a career high for him. And, it's just fun watching him to continue. Hey, just take those shots. I love it when they don't think about it and they just take them when they're wide open. And they kept going down and they kept going down and they kept going down. And, as I was watching, every single time he caught the ball, I just wanted him to shoot it because, again, he was in the moment. He had momentum and energy and rhythm. And honestly, when you're that hot, really at any level, that kind of, when you're at that level, I'd rather that guy take a average or slightly below average shot than a guy that's not really hitting and is wide open. I mean, because confidence and rhythm just make all the difference in basketball. So I'm so glad that he kept putting them up and making them. Of course, now, Chet was awesome. Offensively, he is all right. Again, I think the best version of him is at this point in his career is when he is also not thinking about it, catching the ball and putting it up for three. I think if he shoots more and more threes, I think that's only going to be beneficial for him and for the team at this point in his career. Not to say that I don't want him to attack closeouts at all or take advantage. Go if he's got a 6'4" guard on him, of course, go down low and take advantage. Um, but I just don't want him thinking too much when it comes to catching the ball and putting it up because he's got a good shot, and we are not a great 3-point shooting team, so he needs to be one of the high volume guys for sure. And Aaron Wiggins, he was great. He had 14 points as well. Now, I'm going to be completely fair and honest. What we saw last night from the Nuggets is probably the worst version of the Nuggets we will see outside of Peyton Watson, who played out of his mind. So he was the leading scorer. He had 29 points, but Joker, he only had 16 points. We're not going to see that too often. And Jamal Murray, he wasn't super great in my opinion. He had 12 assists, which I was kind of surprised by that, but he only ended up with 12 points and wasn't overly or super aggressive. So he just had an average game, I would say, as well. Um, so yeah, this team obviously they didn't have three of their big guys. Aaron Gordon, they didn't have Cam Johnson, and they didn't have Christian Brown. But we also did not have Dub. We didn't have Caruso, and we didn't have AJ Mitchell. So it was an even game, but we definitely didn't get the Nuggets' best version of themselves, and that was completely obvious. Just watching Jokic, he wasn't in game shape. He was huffing and puffing in the first quarter, which is to be expected. I mean, he missed I several weeks, I think 3 or 4 weeks, of basketball, and you can't replicate that until you're actually in the game. So uh, I thought he was all right, but he obviously was not the Joker that we're used to that just completely dominates. So I am excited about this win, and I hope it can catapult the Thunder, and we win several games after this. But to me, it doesn't, I'm not like overly excited about it just because I know and I fully expect that we will be meeting the Denver Nuggets um, in the Western Conference Finals. So the only other thing as well that I noticed about Denver was Valanciunas. He's pretty good offensively. He's all right, but defensively, he's going to get cooked by our team, and I don't think he's going to be that big of a impact player for the Denver Nuggets in the playoffs, especially against us, because we will attack that guy over and over and over and over and over. I mean, Shea especially. Um, so that was just one little small detail that I was kind of reminded about. We kind of cooked him when he played for the Pelicans a couple years ago. We'd kind of let him do his thing where he would, shoot little mid-range shots, and sometimes he'd make them. Um, but he's not going to kill you, and defensively, he just cannot hang. Um, the one other thing that I do want to talk about too is Peyton Watson was incredible. He had 29 points. But I do like the idea, and I know we hate giving up all those wide open corner threes. but we won a championship on shutting down the rim, the lane, the drives. And, that's going to affect guys like Jokic who kind of dominate down around there, Aaron Gordon. And I think it is especially important to keep those guys from, at least attempting to keep those guys from going off in the playoffs and letting the Peyton Watsons of the world beat us from three. Like if that guy goes for 30 in a playoff game or even 20, like you just put your hands up and go, well, it wasn't our night because their role players just beat us tonight. And um I just don't have the faith that they will continue to do that. So, um I hate seeing those wide open corner threes as well, but I still feel like we won a championship playing defense the way we play it, and it's not going to change. I really do not think that will change. Um, I mean, why fix something that's not broken? So, anyways, that's something just to keep an eye on to see, how we match up against them defensively there. And also just kind of intriguing for me Watson has been really good. So, what's that dynamic with, Christian Brown coming back, Aaron Gordon coming back, Cam Johnson? Now, that's the name truly. What does that look like? I mean, does Peyton Watson go back to the bench? Do they try to put Cam on the bench when he's healthy? I don't know what they'll do, but it's a good problem for them to have because Watson has really developed this year. Um, but anyways, that's just another thing I was thinking about. So overall, it was a fun game. Definitely wasn't Denver's best. We saw Shea at almost his best, and our role players just hitting from the outside, which is awesome. Um, but again, I just want to remind Thunder fans just to take it with a grain of salt because we're not going to see Denver play that poorly, especially Jokic, probably ever again this season or in the playoffs. So that's all I've got for today. Thank you so much for watching this video. And of course, Thunder up.